Hello and welcome everyone. This is Man bringing you another Fleet Ops audio commentary. Today I get the pleasure of bringing you a 1v1 FunnyStuff versus Mort, both showing up as Dominions. Starting off in the top left hand corner we have FunnyStuff as the purple Dominion. Down here in the right hand bottom corner we have Mort as the orange Dominion. Now, these guys are going at it on Duel. It's a two-player map. Everyone's fairly familiar with it. It's a 12K by 12K. Has 5 lanes across the center with a nice little expansion in the middle, with some natural expansions over here on either side. Now, both players are basically setting up their initial run. These guys look like they are both pure tech, and they are. You see down here, Mort is pumping out the bugs as these scouts decide to just pound each other into oblivion very, very slowly. We'll come back to them later. Now, actually, what really is going on here, the FunnyStuff is actually managing to scout just a little bit with this guy, even though he's not, as he has actually prevented Mort from scouting his base. So while they're blasting each other into oblivion, you know, at the snail's pace, he's at least getting a little bit of intel, though I don't think he can quite see what his Mort is doing. So one of the strategies that has been talked about is the fact that bugs are very weak against support ships. And you'll see that Funny is pumping out a C-11. A C-11 is a support ship, so Mort down here going bugs, just, okay, bugs, is perhaps going to run into the support vessel, and we'll find that he is not a match. So we shall see how that plays out. Now, up here, Funny only has his prototype, so we expect to see about, okay, so he is going to go just about all C-11s, queuing up all up into 7 of them. At the same time, he is putting, oh, did I see that? Okay, no. He has put up a second one in the middle, and so this forward base is going to allow him an easy access into Mort's base as far as a raiding perspective. Now, in the meantime, Mort does have a fleet out. He's got a pair of bugs, and he's going to be able to, he's going to attack this early proxy yard. However, I have to admit that this pair of bugs by themselves are not going to really be able to take down the station in time to run into perhaps one of these other vessels. So you do see that there is at least a production support vessel on the way. There's another C-11 on the way here. This is enough to stop Funny from producing his mining, but there's nothing really here that's going to concern him because he's just going to go repair. So these miners are, this construction ship is actually fairly sturdy, and out comes a C-11. So now we have a 2 versus 1. And we'll see how this works. So you can see that this support vessel not taking a whole bunch of damage from these 2 ships and dealing out relatively decent numbers of damage to these guys. Now Mort has brought in another pair of bugs. Oddly enough, these 2 are backing off, but Funny has managed to pump out, has got 2 of these guys, and you can see that the however, the passives are not working in their favor. These C-11s are still taking a semi-decent amount of damage. Oddly enough, I don't know why Mort didn't have his original pair of bugs up here as well. So a little bit of perhaps missed opportunity, able to put a little bit of extra fire. This guy is going to be able to run over here and quickly repair, as FunnyStuff is making a very strong play for the midpoint. So C-11s working their way in. So, in the meantime, Mort getting a little bit outstripped here on the middle here. However, you do see that a ton of bugs here starting to come out here, as we see about 8 here 8 versus these 4, we'll see. So, and that'll be about 5 here. So 8 versus 5, these bugs are going to maybe make a play on these guys. Scouting over here by Funny. Funny doing a really good job of just keeping an eye out what's going on here. And Mort losing a scout to just a very on top of the ball Funny here, just knocking the shields down, grabbing a scout. This is you think that this is a small move, but this really does save Funny the cost of another scout. So here we have these bugs coming in on here, just going numbers on these guys. And wow, take a look at how much damage those guys are doing. But at the same time, there's 8 of them there. They're just not able to really put out the damage needed to destroy these guys. Now they're going in on the raiding here. You can see that somewhere in here, these bugs are taking a little bit of damage, but they're just not taking enough, and they're almost about to get a kill, but not enough to take over on the repair rate. And that repair yard there proved to just be devastatingly effective. Mort having to pull back a little bit, getting at least the scout to come up a bit, but not going to make... Oh, and the C11's over here in the main of Mort. Mort's dilithium under pressure, but at the same time, these guys are going to make a run up here for Mort's expansion, and Mort doesn't have much of anything in the way of that. So these two guys going... Funny, actually having the purported counter for these bugs, not under a lot of pressure, but really he is just, I can't say he has a definitive win here. He has a great position here in the middle with that expansion, and that is really working in his favor. But I think that, more than anything, not necessarily the C11s, are giving him the advantage. And here we see Funny just on the ball here, going over this expansion, putting some pressure on it. And this is really... So, I want to point out this here. So you can see that these guys were going after this front runner. Oddly enough... Okay, so I thought I knew what was going on here. Generally, if you have a ship that is trying to run off, you have like a trio of ships trying to run off, what you'll do is you want to fire at the one closest to their repair yard so you can kill it first. Everything else you'll have sufficient time to kill. Like these guys are back into this area and are sitting ducks. So down goes one of the miners. And here we have Mort moving slowly across the field, very steadily up in here. And apparently, so a scout, Funny, sensing with his scout ship that Mort's bugs were making a move on the main. These bugs are going to be able to creep up along the side, just way out of and you can see Funny really on the ball here, moving his miners out of position so that they're not in range of it. So these bugs are going to try to move up. Now, Funny not engaging with this single vessel at the moment, trying to make sure that it is in good position. Funny trying to close off the gap here, at least comes up from behind, not allowing these guys an escape route. Mort focusing on this refinery, at least trying to get a kill out of it, and he is doing sufficient damage, might able to get something. Now we'll see how much these guys do as far as damage. Mort turning around, not able to get any experience, going to get the knock off on these guys. They are going to end up maybe... Okay, so Funny is going to have to make sure he micros this guy. If he loses this, just a really... Oh, Funny doing a really bad job of micro there. Oh, a bug ram on the C11, going to end up pounding it down a little bit. These bugs are getting slaughtered. However, you do got to admit that they have made a sufficient, very nice little run on this. Now that one getting a little bit injured. These bugs, even though their passives don't give them much of an option as far as what they can do against these C11s, their numbers are still sufficient. Oh, and Funny on top of the ball sees one of these bugs with lowered shields, trying to steal one. And players, that's what you want to kind of keep up in mind with, is just, you know, take any opportunity that you can get. And you see Funny with just a smug grin on his face. If I've ever seen a smiley with a smug look on its face, it was that one. So Funny, however, going to feel the pain of that destroyed